Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel and this is my reality. I wanted to come on here earlier. I've been busy all day and report on this breaking news about Sean P. Diddy, Puff Daddy Combs. Um, at this point, well, let me start here. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button if you like the content that you're receiving, and hit the like button as well. And also, the best button is aside from the subscribe and like button, would be the notification button. That way, you can get notifications when I go live, when I upload, or whatever's going on with me. If I do some sort of surprise or something like that, you'll be notified. It's a free and easy way to support my channel. I'm a relatively new content creator. I haven't been on here more than, I think my YouTube birthday will be like in March, April, I don't know, sometime next year. So please, if you can, hit the like button and share this video, and hit the subscribe button and notification button. I also want to notify everyone that is watching this video or will watch this video that this topic is and can be triggering for people. The topic that we're going to be talking about today includes violence or violent acts against, in my opinion, humanity, which includes anyone that isn't able to defend themselves in some way. And it's a lot. It's a lot. So I just want to give you a fair warning. Buckle your seatbelt. I also want to say here on Chanel's Reality, everything is, in my opinion, it is for entertainment purposes only, and it is all alleged. I spoke about this topic earlier, today, probably about 3 times. We talked about Sean P. Diddy Combs and the accusations against him, the lawsuits that seem to be mounting, and how I completely disagree with this narrative about, this is about taking down a Black man, and, we need to stand by him, and this is the culture. And this isn't about, let me be very, very clear. This is not about a Black man. It is not about a man. It is not about the Black culture or our culture or the culture of hip hop. This is about a man who seemingly, according to the lawsuits that keep piling up, has some sort of sexual deviant behavior that appears to be very savage. That's what it appears to be if you read any of the lawsuits. It's a lot, reading the lawsuits. It's hard to keep coming on here sometimes. It's like, whoa. And I'm a person who has worked in sex crimes and with victims of SA. There's lots of things we can't say here on YouTube, so you'll notice that I use different words. But I wanted to say that, like I said, it could be triggering. If you are a victim, you can certainly call 988 if you're in crisis, and you can talk to someone. They are available 24/7, 365, 7 days a week. And I'm going to play some of the footage from earlier from the attorney. I'm going to play a little bit. I may play some of what Jaguar Wright, her response. I don't know if I'll play that because I'm actually very tired, if I'm being completely honest. But I will say this, lots of people have been saying, like I said before, this is about a Black guy, and he's successful and someone wants to take him down and this, that, and the third. And I've been kind of like the complete opposite of that spectrum, because I don't think it's about that. It's about standing up for what's right. It's about standing up for humanity. It's about standing up for people who claim they have been wronged. And viciously wronged, according to the lawsuits and according to the Southern District of New York, which is the federal government. And for those that don't know, Sean Diddy Puppy Gomes has been accused by the federal government of several crimes that include racketeering, kidnapping, human trafficking, on and on and on. But if you want to know a list of them, I did a video earlier and I named all of them and we went over some other items. But let's just jump right into it. Share my screen. Again, like I said, this could be triggering some of the information. So if there's kids in the room, I personally say keep them there and have a conversation about things like this. But that's me, and I don't have any kids. So do whatever you need to do for your own safety and your kids and your mental health and things like that. So anyways, let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So I just want to review with you guys really quickly what the Washington Post wrote about. Mr. Diddy, didn't mean to do that. Sorry, guys. I wanted to read to you guys what the Washington Post said about Sean P. Diddy Combs today. Let me just get back to the first page. Okay, so it says, a team of lawyers. Let me go back one more. Okay, it says a team of lawyers. Oh, let me go down so you guys can, well, you can see it later. I can scroll down. It says a team of lawyers Tuesday, that's today, they announced that they would be filing more than 100 sexual assault lawsuits against Sean Combs, a massive legal action that appears to have few, if any, precedents in the Me Too era. The lawsuits would exponentially increase the number of sexual abuse accusations against the embattled music producer, commonly known as by his stage name as Diddy. Okay, let me go back so you guys can see it. Sorry. It says the biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally revealed to the world, said Tony Busby, who is an attorney, a lawyer here in Houston, Texas. He's one of the lead attorneys at a Houston news conference today. The wall of silence has now been broken. This is what Mr. Tony Busby has said. So let's take a listen. Let me share my screen with you guys. 1 second. I don't know. I don't even know. How is it still in my little feed here? Oh, I should have cleared this out. Okay, well, that's definitely not it. Where is my little feed that I had earlier? Why is it doing this? Am I on the right feed? Oh, okay. Well, let's listen to what he has to say.
I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers.
Yes, sir.
You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We have had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense.
Amen.
We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough.
Mm-hmm.
The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public.
Mm-hmm.
The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack.
Yes, they do.
We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive, but it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. I don't want to focus on the ages of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old.
Wow.
We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15.
Jesus Christ.
25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024.
Wow.
If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that it revives such claims and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying that says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reports, reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities. And I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer.
Did you know that over 60% of Americans have not?
Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California. Another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly, but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused, or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave, typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave, and then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data.
Right. I know that.
Although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around.
Wow.
As other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days.
Wow.
Now, it's rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, this type of activity is pervasive in our society, and it's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country and really focus on this about how pervasive this is and what we can, as collectively can do about it. So I thought I'd take this opportunity before I go into some of the individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made and so you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie Paul. She's a national victim advocate who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct. And she has some important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention. I think it's important that you hear from her.
Hello, I'm Carrie Paul with the National Victim Advocate.
Okay, I just want to stop there and just say, those of you who are just joining us, or if you're going to watch this on the replay, thank you for tuning in to Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel. This is my reality. Late where I am, and so, but I did want to do a video on this so that my peeps out there in the YouTube universe can see it. Been a long day, but what has happened so far, this attorney has basically said, he's a Houston-based attorney, so he's here in my city, that he has 120 plaintiffs and counting that have decided that they want to bring charges against Sean Diddy Combs, Puff Daddy, P Diddy, whatever you want to call him. And to me, this is kind of like blood in the water. I'm like, I've been listening to people say, for some months now, various different things, everything from, oh, this is about
taking a black man down and we need to stick by our men and other people who believe the victims and things of that nature. And I just want to make it very clear again, here on Chanel's Reality, we believe victims. You know, I do. I do. I've worked in sex crimes. I understand that not everybody's going to tell the truth, but that's the exception. That is not the rule. The rule is most people that are SA, because I can only say certain words on YouTube, the rule is most of them never come forward. But the ones that do, they typically are not lying about it. I'm just saying. And why do I say that? Because I worked in sex crimes. Now, I'm not a representative for all people because obviously I'm just one person, but I do know it's difficult to come forward. I do know that people will shame you and try to make you feel like it's your fault, and they will threaten you. So when that attorney said that, that's absolutely true. And that's one of the reasons a lot of victims don't come forward. Just think about it. You're 6 years old and your mom's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend or new boy, whatever, brother, cousin, uncle, whoever, don't have a problem with me, don't have a problem with the Black culture, don't have a problem with Black women, quote unquote, not supporting the Black man, have a problem with the perpetrator. Don't have a problem with us. Have a problem with the perpetrator. Direct all your questions and your concerns to the person being accused. Stop directing them at the person who is the alleged victim. That's all I'm saying. Change your mind frame just a little bit. But like I said, here on Chanel's Reality, we believe the victims. I do believe in due process. I do believe everybody has the right to a fair trial and, you know, a right to pursue and or try to prove their innocence. 100%. I 100% believe that. But I don't like the fact that there's lots of people out here saying things to make it seem as though this has something to do with Black women, Black culture, Black power, Black excellence, and Black success. This has nothing to do with that. This has everything to do with a man that is being accused of very highly sexual deviant behavior, savage behavior. That's what he's being accused of. I'm not saying he's guilty. I currently believe he is, and I believe he'll be found guilty. But I don't know. I wasn't there. So I can't say for sure. And like I said, everything on my channel is in my opinion. It's alleged and it is for entertainment purposes only. So, but I do think it's interesting that now that the feds have released whatever they released and did their tactics at the high level and all of that, I do find it interesting now that, you know, that's why I say it's blood in the water. Now it's like, oh my God, even if he didn't have 120 or however many victims he has over this 30 years, now I can't see him getting out of this. I can't, there is no way forward in my opinion. But we'll see, like I said, moving forward, how it'll go. But I also think it's very interesting that this law firm, whoever they are, because like I said, they're here in Houston, they have a whole step and repeat in the background. They got the number up there for you to call. They was prepared. And it does seem very opportunistic, I have to say. But listen, clearly Diddy has done something. I don't know what, but I know that the federal government, this I know for sure, they are not going to file they're not going to send out, they're not going to even get permission to come and send someone to your house to raid your home, 3 homes at once, and you have mansions that they're raiding without some sort of proof of something. So they have money and everything else to be able to bring these charges, and it's just trickling on down to the states now. And I believe him when he says, you know, it's not just Diddy, and it's, you know, all of the other people that are involved and entities. Notice he kept saying entities. So that lets me know that all the way up to, you know, how you'll hear things like Sony Music Group, or I think Viacom. I'm not saying these people are involved. I'm just saying when you start saying entities, it's getting deep. So anyway, this young lady apparently is an advocate of some sort or works for some group that advocates on behalf of victims. So let's just listen to what she has to say. 1 second, let me get back to it.
It's not easy for any survivor to come forward. Our culture doesn't believe survivors.
Period.
It blames and questions them. Instead of showing support, many choose to enable abusers.
Mm-hmm.
The media runs stories asking why it took so long for survivors to come forward. instead of asking what barriers exist. We also don't equip law enforcement with the ability to handle sexual assault crimes. Lack of funding translates to lack of training. We have officers in the field that don't know what to say to a rape victim, and also an alarming amount of backlogged, untested rape kits. Prosecutors are focused on what they can prove in a case, and if so, how to do that at time of trial. Advocates and staff are stretched thin with growing caseloads in the criminal justice system. Most people don't know how the criminal justice works in general.
Jersey Mike's freshly slices it right in front of you. You can't fake that. You can fake my apple.
There isn't enough staff or resources to adequately explain the entire process to every victim and survivor.
Right.
Our culture works against victims and survivors every day, and abusers know this.
Mm-hmm.
Abusers work themselves into positions of power, building a public image that is trusted and financially large enough to make people look away.
Mm-hmm.
Abusers are unfortunately very skilled at power and control, the foundation of abuse. They seek victims who are vulnerable, such as children, their employees, and their intimate partners, all who see a different version than the public does, all who rely on the abuser in some way. And for those that do come forward and aren't believed, face questions like, are you sure it happened that way? Were you drinking? What were you wearing?
Right.
All of this creates an environment that enables abusers to continue abusing them and future victims. To the survivors that have come forward despite not being believed at some point in time, your courage is like nothing we have seen before. We thank you for coming forward for yourself and all survivors. And lastly, I want all survivors that are watching this to know we believe you and we support you. Thank you.
Amen.
I want you now to hear from my co-counsel, Andrew Van Arsdale. We've created a sexual abuse hotline, and I want him to visit with us just a few moments about how that works and the kind of volume of calls we've received.
Thank you, Tony. Like Tony said, my name is Andrew Van Arsdale. I'm the managing partner of ABA Law Group. We have offices in California, Montana, and North Carolina. To build off of what you just so well said, it's very hard to come forward. And given what we've experienced the past 10 days is really unprecedented in my career, at least. We represent thousands of survivors of abuse, and never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward where we've confirmed and decided to investigate and represent 120 people while we're continuing to work through another 100+ cases to prove them up, to validate what had happened here, and to hold those that are responsible accountable. And so like Tony said, we've set this up. It's 1-800-200-7474. I have a team of people standing by literally. If you know that this happened to someone and you have information.
So I'm going to stop it there because I don't want to play all of these people's information. Plus, you can go online and see it yourself. But I do want to, like I said, I want to encourage people. If something has happened to you, I do like that they, I was saying earlier about how it's opportunistic and they made a, step and repeat. I'm referring to the big, that's what it's called, step and repeat, but it's like, I guess, a giant poster, I would say, in the background. If you are a survivor or if you have anything that you want to share about information maybe that you know to be true and you have proof and things like that, I certainly, encourage you to call their hotline, and they say they have people standing by, and it takes a lot of manpower to do that. But I will say, I do think it's very interesting that he's saying in a 10-day period. I would love to know. So I'm going to finish watching it, but I would love to know what he found out in 10 days. They had to found out a lot of information if they're saying that they also have corroborated this information on some level to be able to say that they are representing 120 clients that are accusing Sean P. Diddy, Puffy Daddy, Combs, or his people that, were around, people that either aided and abetted, people that watched, people that participated. And then he said other entities. I also found it very interesting that, like if you're just tuning in, he also stated, not him, but the opening attorney also stated that there were minors. So that means people who cannot consent to any type of sexual behavior. Be very clear. That's what a minor means. It means they cannot consent. You also can't consent if you're under the influence of something else that is controlling your mind, your body, things like that. So it's interesting to me that he also brought up, that he brought up minors and how these people got to Diddy. I thought that was very interesting too. And like I said, again, all of this information is alleged. It is in my opinion and in the opinions of the people that are, I guess, the attorneys that are going to possibly prosecute Diddy when the federal government gets finished with them. But I think it's interesting. A lot of the information that the first attorney, I'm presuming he's the lead attorney, or at least the one with the deepest pockets. That's what I'm going to say. But I think that it's interesting that he said how they met Diddy or how they came in contact with people that, I guess would have some sort of information or way to contact Diddy. And it was through I guess they had some sort of talent, or they wanted to get seen by him, or present something to Diddy. I don't know what exactly, but some of them, that's how they got to him. And I do think that happens. And you don't have to be a child or a minor for that to happen to you. I think that happens to a lot of people, out here, that especially in the age of technology, everybody's touchable all over the whole universe, where everybody is touchable through an iPad or iPhone or whatever. But it's still the scariest place to me is the unknown, and I think people are hoping that people are like them. And I want to say this. I do think that a lot of us are the same. And if we had, our brothers and sisters' backs, then we wouldn't allow this savagery to go on. Because when I say we, I'm not talking about the good people out here in the world, but I'm just saying the good people are being taken advantage of by, right? So it's like, if they didn't sit by and just watch, and let me be clear. When I say they, I'm not talking about people who also were maybe being, their drinks were being laced, or they were under some sort of influence, or the people who feared Diddy. Because let's just be clear, based on, if you've read any of those lawsuits and the type of people that are in this man's, or have been in this man's 1 degree of separation from him, a lot of these people have come up missing. And when I say missing, I mean they're no longer alive. And it's always some random medical condition. It's, they died of a sudden brain aneurysm after they wrote a book, or, they died of, I think Kim Porter, his ex, I think she's the mother of 3 of his children. She passed away, I think in 2018, I believe, of pneumonia. But it's just very interesting. You should go watch my video on that, or watch BJ Investigates on that, because that original coroner's report had it as it was a homicide. That's what it was. And that coroner got thrown off the case, or at least removed from it. Let me say it like that. And he is also no longer with us, allegedly. Well, he is no longer with us, but I'm just saying how he passed. That part is alleged. It's just, again, You know, it's just those things. And then whenever the second medical examiner, then suddenly she has, you know, pneumonia. I just have never heard of anyone having pneumonia and they can breathe and no one isn't the person calling 911 to report this lady, you know, is unconscious is not saying, well, you know, the doctor said she had pneumonia and she's been coughing all day. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't add up. And if it doesn't add up, there's a lie somewhere. That's what my grandma used to always say. And I believe that. But I'm gonna say this one last thing. I do think that there's definitely blood in the water. And I really do hope it doesn't. I hope that this helps our society understand the mindset of savages a little better, and then the mindset of the people that they attack, and how they attack them, and how our society, like the young lady said, the advocate lady, our society holds it up. Because the moment someone says anything about a man doing something to a little girl, a little boy, or a female, it is just like it's blood in the water. How dare you accuse this man? Da, 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 da. Instead of, like she said, why aren't you asking about what happened? Why would she accuse you of that? Why would he accuse you of that? You know, instead of blaming them. And listen, like I said, I've worked in sex crimes, so I know. I've seen the children, I've seen the young ladies, I've seen the moms, I've seen the girlfriends, I've seen the wives, and other people who don't even believe their own children. Just saying. These are not things I'm making up. These are facts. And I've been doing this for 20 plus years. So, but again, these things are in my opinion and for entertainment purposes only, and it's all alleged. But I do hope if you are in crisis, like I said, I put down at the bottom of my little screen here, I may have taken it off, that you can certainly call 988 or you can dial 988. That's not the one. Where is it? I may have taken it off here somewhere. If you are in crisis, and it doesn't have to be this type of crisis, but I certainly encourage people who have been victimized in this way. I'm not going to say come forward now or anything like that, because that's everybody's own personal journey. It's if this has happened to you, that's your trauma. I can't manage your trauma for you, and neither can anyone else. And no one needs to tell you that you need to move forward, you need to move on, and all of that. It's your trauma, and we all get triggered, and we all respond to triggers differently. So tell them to mind their business if they're not going to support you. Period. That's how I see it, but that's just me. So again, I think it's going to be blood in the water for a while. But I was going to say, the point that I was making is that I hope it doesn't get diluted. And because you already have people that already don't believe in general. And so I hope it doesn't get diluted down to, oh my God, there's 1,000 victims now, and I can't possibly believe the 1,000 people. Well, you know, if someone has that much money, that much power, that much time, and that much influence, yeah, it can be well over that, you know? So I definitely believe it can happen for sure. It's happened before, and it will happen again. It's just, how are we going to respond to it? Are we going to sit around and pretend as if we don't know what's going on? Are we going to, you know, still make laws that prevent victims from coming forward, or limit the victims from coming forward and give them time limits? Because we don't want to, don't get me started, but we don't want to hold the person. We don't want to hold it over their head for the rest of their lives in case they go on in their lives and be great and have a family and all the things that the perpetrators want people to believe when a victim comes forward. How dare she do this now? How dare he do this now? And the other thing too, I found very interesting, that a lot of the people who did already sue Diddy and other entities, it was people who are male and female victims, meaning it appears from the lawsuits, if you read them, that Diddy is into minors, because that's what this attorney said, not the one standing here right now, but yeah, he said minor children, even down to the age of 9. I think he said some of them were 14 and 15. I'm not shocked, because that's who predators prey on, people that they think they can take advantage of. Just saying. And it seems as though too, Diddy's taking advantage of some people in Hollywood, because the only reason I say that is because the entirety of the entertainment industry is on mute. How is that? They running around here talking about this man was an icon and this, how dare y'all say this about this black man and this, that, and the third. It's not about how about this man being an icon. It's not about him being black. It's about him appearing to be a savage, period. That's what it's about. And if you want a savage in your neighborhood, then, keep supporting the savages. But I'd be willing to bet if they gave you a newsletter in your neighborhood and say he moving in next door, you would have a problem with it. Take the celebrity out of it. Let him move into your neighborhood. See how cool you're gonna be with it. See how much you're gonna uplift him because simply because he's black. We're not uplifting criminal behavior. We're not uplifting people being able to traumatize others. Why would you uplift that? Why would you want to hold that up? That's just ludicrous to me. But that's me. And like I said, I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. And this is how I'm not changing over here. We use both of our brains on this side. Just saying. But anyways, thanks guys for tuning in to another episode of Chanel's Reality. Like I said, if you like the content, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, hit all my buttons, hit the notification button so you'll know the next time I go live, or if I post another or upload another video, you'll be notified. And it's a free and easy way to support my channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by January 1st, 2025. So I hope you guys are around. Again, hit that like button on your way out. Thank you so much for participating in another episode of Chanel's Reality. Bye, guys.